Imagine a small group of outcasts gathering secretly in shadowy rooms, whispering about radical new ideas that could overturn the most powerful empire on earth. This wasn't a conspiracy of warriors, kings, or political masterminds. It was a movement born from humble fishermen, exiled prophets, and persecuted believers. What began as a fringe Jewish sect, scorned and suppressed by Rome, astonishingly became the largest and most influential religion humanity has ever known. But how did this improbable shift occur? How did a once obscure faith centered around a crucified preacher grow into a global religion, reshaping societies, politics, and cultures forever? The dramatic rise of Christianity, from its fragile beginnings in Judea to its overwhelming dominance of the Western world, is one of history's greatest enigmas, a story that blends chance, perseverance, political intrigue, and divine intervention. Join us as we unravel the explosive tale of how Christianity surged from society's fringe to become a major world religion, changing the course of human history forever. Our story begins in 1st century Judea, a remote and volatile province on the outskirts of the Roman Empire. Under the iron fist of Rome, Jewish people lived a restless existence, waiting eagerly for the prophesied Messiah who would lead them out of oppression. Into this fervent and turbulent atmosphere stepped Jesus of Nazareth, a charismatic preacher whose revolutionary teachings of love, forgiveness, and a personal relationship with God quickly attracted crowds and controversy alike. He preached not of violent revolt, but of turning the other cheek, loving enemies, and establishing a kingdom not of this world. This provocative message challenged both Jewish religious authorities and Roman political order, making Jesus a threat to the powerful elite. After his crucifixion, a punishment reserved for slaves, criminals, and traitors, most would have expected Jesus' story to end, fading quickly into the oblivion of forgotten rebels. But then something extraordinary happened, something that turned defeat into victory and sparked the rapid rise of Christianity. Jesus' followers began proclaiming that he had risen from the dead. This resurrection claim transformed Christianity from a defeated movement into a revolutionary spiritual force. Apostles like Peter, Paul, and John traveled tirelessly across the Mediterranean, spreading the radical message that Jesus was the risen Savior, the Son of God, whose sacrifice brought eternal salvation. Their compelling sermons, combined with astounding claims of miracles and personal encounters with the risen Christ, captivated diverse audiences ranging from humble laborers to Roman aristocrats. Despite its growing appeal, early Christianity faced brutal persecution. Roman emperors saw the fledgling faith as a dangerous superstition undermining traditional Roman values. Nero notoriously blamed Christians for Rome's devastating fire in AD 64, subjecting believers to horrific tortures and public executions. Later emperors, including Domitian, Trajan, and Diocletian, intensified persecutions, attempting to eradicate Christianity by burning sacred texts, destroying places of worship, and executing leaders. Yet paradoxically, persecution only fueled the movement's spread. The steadfast courage and martyrdom of countless Christians inspired awe and curiosity, attracting even more converts who saw a profound truth worth dying for. Another critical factor was the role of Apostle Paul, whose missionary journeys and prolific letters reshaped Christianity into a religion accessible to all, not just Jews. Paul's radical idea that faith in Jesus alone, rather than strict adherence to Jewish law, was the path to salvation, dramatically broadened Christianity's appeal. Suddenly, Gentiles across the empire were flocking to Christianity, drawn by its inclusive message of redemption and equality before God, regardless of race, status, or wealth. Christianity's universal appeal stood in stark contrast to Rome's rigid social hierarchies, offering marginalized groups dignity and hope previously unimaginable. Then came a turning point that changed everything. the dramatic conversion of Emperor Constantine in AD 312. Legend says Constantine, preparing for battle at Milvian Bridge, saw a vision of a blazing cross with the words, "In this sign conquer." He won decisively, crediting the Christian God for his victory. Constantine's subsequent Edict of Milan in 313 granted unprecedented religious freedom to Christians, ending centuries of persecution. Suddenly, Christianity was no longer an outlawed cult, but a privileged faith with imperial backing, resources, and political power. Constantine's support launched Christianity from obscurity into mainstream culture, fueling an unprecedented expansion across the empire. Magnificent churches were constructed, theological councils convened to unify doctrine, and Christian values began reshaping Roman law and society. Christianity's ascent continued under Emperor Theodosius, who in 380 AD made Christianity the official religion of the Roman Empire, dramatically cementing its dominance. Pagan temples were converted or destroyed, and the once marginalized Christian community found itself in positions of immense authority, influencing everything from education to governance. Christianity now wielded political power, impacting laws around slavery, marriage, and social welfare, fundamentally altering the moral fabric of the ancient world. As Rome crumbled under barbarian invasions and internal decay, Christianity emerged as a stabilizing force. The Church became a beacon of continuity, preserving ancient knowledge in monasteries, promoting literacy, and laying the foundations for Europe's future universities and hospitals. Missionaries traveled extensively, spreading Christianity far beyond Roman borders into the forests of Germania, the islands of Britain, and eventually into Scandinavia and Eastern Europe. Christianity's remarkable adaptability allowed it to merge seamlessly with local cultures, traditions, and practices, making it uniquely versatile and resilient. The rise of monasticism, driven by figures like Benedict of Nursia, profoundly shaped medieval Christianity. Monasteries became hubs of intellectual and spiritual activity, preserving classical texts, pioneering agricultural advancements, and serving as the educational backbone of medieval society. Monks and nuns tirelessly provided care to the sick, shelter to the poor, and guidance to rulers, solidifying Christianity's role as not only a spiritual force, but a social and political cornerstone. The medieval period witnessed both triumph and controversy. The Crusades, initially aimed at reclaiming Jerusalem from Muslim control, symbolized Christianity's newfound political and military power, but also exposed the religion's darker side. Wars fought in Christ's name left scars and controversies still debated today. Yet even amid violence and fanaticism, Christianity continued to grow, spreading its influence globally through exploration and colonization in the Age of Discovery. Portuguese and Spanish explorers, driven by faith and greed, carried Christianity to the Americas, Africa, and Asia, forever altering indigenous cultures. In the modern era, Christianity faced challenges from within. Reformation and Enlightenment thought questioned established doctrines, institutions, and authority. Martin Luther's defiant posting of his 95 Theses sparked religious upheaval, fracturing Christianity into Catholic and Protestant traditions. Despite internal divisions, Christianity's global presence continued to expand. Missionary movements in the 18th and 19th centuries carried the gospel across continents, reaching remote areas in Africa, Asia, and the Pacific. Christianity's ability to translate sacred texts into countless languages made it accessible to diverse cultures, reinforcing its universal message. The 20th and 21st centuries brought new challenges and transformations. Christianity faced secularization, scientific skepticism, and pluralism, compelling it to adapt and redefine itself yet again. Pentecostal and evangelical movements surged globally, emphasizing personal spiritual experiences, miraculous healings, and direct emotional connections to God. Christianity also thrived in regions like Latin America, Africa, and Asia, reshaping itself around indigenous expressions and vibrant community practices. Today, Christianity remains the largest religion in the world, embraced by billions of people across every continent. So how did a fringe Jewish sect, persecuted and marginalized, achieve such unprecedented global dominance? It was an astonishing combination of factors: the magnetic message of spiritual equality and redemption, the courageous testimony of martyrs, the strategic brilliance of apostles like Paul, and the decisive political support from emperors like Constantine and Theodosius. Christianity's astonishing adaptability allowed it to thrive under persecution, reshape empires, transform societies, and weather internal and external challenges. Yet beyond historical and sociological factors, believers would say Christianity's rise was driven by divine intervention, a supernatural power moving behind the scenes, orchestrating events, and guiding human history towards a preordained conclusion. Whether viewed as miraculous or merely coincidental, the explosive rise of Christianity, from fringe cult to dominant world religion, remains one of history's most captivating stories, a fascinating tale of resilience, vision, and faith that continues to shape our world profoundly. Today, we've explored how a crucified preacher's message conquered empires, reshaped cultures, and captured the hearts of billions. But the journey is far from over. As Christianity evolves, adapts, and transforms, the next chapters of its incredible story remain unwritten, waiting for future generations to define. As Christianity stands at the threshold of the future, it finds itself at a crossroads shaped by globalization, technological advancement, and shifting societal values. In an increasingly interconnected world, Christianity must continually reinvent its outreach methods to remain relevant and resonant. Digital media platforms now serve as powerful pulpits, connecting believers across continents instantaneously, allowing sermons, spiritual guidance, and worship to transcend traditional boundaries. Social networks have become modern-day marketplaces of ideas, much like the Roman Forum centuries ago, where Christianity first began to thrive. From live-streamed masses to viral testimonies, technology has infused fresh vigor into Christianity, amplifying its message and facilitating unprecedented growth in regions previously untouched by missionary efforts. Yet with these opportunities come challenges unlike any the religion has faced before. The digital age demands authenticity and immediacy, compelling religious leaders to engage followers personally and transparently. Christianity today grapples with questions of relevance in secularized societies where traditional authority is frequently questioned or outright rejected. In parts of the Western world, Christianity has faced declining attendance in churches, yet simultaneously, grassroots movements, home-based worship groups, and vibrant youth ministries flourish, offering personalized experiences that echo the communal spirit of early Christianity. These emerging expressions reflect a dynamic, responsive faith capable of engaging individuals disillusioned by institutionalized religion. Meanwhile, Christianity's growth in the global South, particularly Africa, Latin America, and parts of Asia, signals another transformative era. Here, Christianity thrives with passionate, charismatic expressions of faith, emphasizing personal experiences of divine miracles and community-driven social action. Unlike in earlier epochs where European missionaries exported Christianity intertwined with colonial ambitions, today's indigenous church leaders shape faith narratives grounded deeply in local traditions and pressing social issues such as poverty alleviation, human rights advocacy, and environmental stewardship. This shift represents a significant reversal. Rather than Western centers directing global Christianity, vibrant faith communities in Africa and Latin America are now influencing theological debates, global church policies, and missionary strategies worldwide. Simultaneously, Christianity faces mounting pressure to address internal divisions, particularly regarding controversial social issues. Debates over gender roles, sexual ethics, and religious pluralism have sparked intense discussions within churches, challenging centuries-old doctrines and prompting difficult dialogues about inclusion, acceptance, and doctrinal authenticity. These debates, though contentious, also demonstrate Christianity's enduring strength, its willingness to introspect, adapt, and evolve even amidst profound theological disagreements. Historically, moments of internal tension have often sparked periods of renewal and transformation, pushing Christianity to deeper spiritual maturity and social relevance. Yet, even as Christianity adapts to contemporary challenges, its core message remains remarkably consistent: love, forgiveness, redemption, and hope. These enduring values continue to resonate deeply in a world marred by conflict, inequality, and existential uncertainty. Christianity's remarkable ability to articulate universal human aspirations for justice, peace, and belonging ensures its ongoing relevance, regardless of cultural shifts or technological advancements. As humanity faces unprecedented global challenges, climate change, political instability, humanitarian crises, Christianity stands poised to provide spiritual solace, moral clarity, and practical compassion, as it has repeatedly throughout history. The story of Christianity, from its precarious beginnings in shadowy rooms of Judea to its commanding presence on the global stage, is not merely history, but an ongoing journey marked by resilience, adaptability, and profound spiritual conviction. As it confronts new frontiers, Christianity remains a vibrant, evolving faith, poised to shape and be shaped by generations yet unborn. Whether through digital sermons, community activism, or theological innovation, Christianity's next chapters promise to be as captivating and transformative as those already written, reaffirming its place not just as a major world religion, but as a powerful, enduring force capable of continuously redefining itself in a rapidly changing world.